just like that. So, people who are normally prone to this kind of thing, right? There are patients who are post-OP, we call them after operation. When you take a patient in and they have operation, what we call general anesthetic, general surgery, where you knock them completely out, you put them to, and then you wake them back up in the operating theater, you bring them to the ward. So they're lying there, just malaise, just out of it. These patients are prone to what you call DVT or deep vein thrombosis. Right? So you, the nurse or the healthcare worker, you have to make sure your patient doesn't arrive at that, doesn't get that. So you look out for the signs and symptoms. Right? So patients who are post-operation, then you have obese people or fat, very fat people. When they come as patients on a ward or even at home, people who are very fat, of the legs or the limbs, just lying in a bed whole day. A fly touch them or a mosquito, they can't move to touch it. So they're just lying there whole day. These people, you have to look out for them. You have to be the advocate for them and to look out for thrombosis in their body. Right? So these people are prone to getting it. And then the most common one we have now, people who are diabetics. That's a whole topic by itself. But in diabetes, your blood becomes thicker and thicker because of the increased amount of sugar in the bloodstream. And as it becomes thicker and thicker, the blood flow to the lower parts, the lower limbs especially, becomes slower and slower. Because the blood becomes so sticky that it moves slower through your veins. So you get what you call, people call it bad circulation. Right? Even the nerve supply to the lower limbs and even the arms in diabetes, that too is affected. So you don't have the quick flow, the quick response, and the quick feelings that you normally will feel in a normal person. Yeah.
One question. Good blood, when somebody have a cut on the hand or something, and the blood must be sticky, or should it just be something that just like watery?
You said if somebody gets a cut on the hand?
Yeah, because sometimes somebody gets a cut on the hand,
right.
and sometimes the blood, you're feeling the stickiness.
Right.
Is it a good sign or bad?
No, it is a good sign. It's supposed to have a sticky, right, consistency. But in diabetes, the blood becomes over sticky because of the high amount of sugar in it, right? Because of the sugar content. Your normal blood sugar is 80 to 120 milligrams percent, right? In diabetes, it crosses that 120. It can go up to, when you put it on the meter to read it, it can just read high, sometimes over 1,000 milligrams, right? So because of that, the viscosity or the stickiness of it increases. So we call it the big term agglutinates or clots. It sticks together. So you get that in diabetes. So you have slow circulation, and then the blood already overtake. You can look at the kind of things that are being sold and that the kids love is sweet things. Everything that is sweet they love, from cake to pastries to soft drinks, and this is causing damage to them, a lot of damage. Right? Now I don't want to go off too much on another topic, diabetes, but I want to keep up.
You say that if the blood, if your blood is thick, or if you cut, right, and your blood come out thick, which means it's not a good sign.
No, if you get a cut, you're supposed to, your blood's supposed to clot normally within a minute and a half. It's supposed to clot.
Right.
It's supposed to patch that area. There's a whole process that goes around causing clotting, right? That is different clotting to what we call just developing a clot within your vein system itself. If you have a cut, it's supposed to clot, it's supposed to seal off. That's how God has made us so wonderful, right? But normally, you're not supposed to develop a clot within your vein just like that. And this is what happens to people who are diabetics. Not all diabetics. One of the persons subject to clots is diabetics. Right? Now, I just want to continue along the line of DVT, and then we can get any question after, right? Thanks. So, I was saying with poor circulation. population, especially in the lower limbs like diabetics, right, are prone to DVT or clots. What do we do about it? Well, treatment in hospital, the patient, they see them and then they write up in the notes, okay, post-OP, after operation, physiotherapy. So you bring in a physiotherapist to do therapy on the legs, movement of the legs, massaging the and so forth. So you will have circulation going properly after surgery, right? And then you also have exercises being done by the patient themselves, which is taught by the nurse. Up, figure the toes, move the arms, things like that. You teach them that for themselves within the ward setting, so that they do it for themselves to keep movement of your blood flow, right? Then you have blood thinners are given, like aspirin, Flavit, warfarin, Clexid injection. These things, they thin the blood so that you wouldn't have clotting taking place, right? And then you have fucking that goes way up to the top of the leg, and that too helps prevent clotting, right? If there's the thought that there may be clotting thrombus, they do a than many. Right? So you have to be wary of it. Yeah.
When you say it happens non-blood, what is it? Is it clotted in the blood or is it post circulation?
No, the DVT, vein thrombosis, are clots, right? We get it more in women than
before you get the exercise before operation or before after operation or before operation?
Okay, the physio is done after operation, but you are taught certain exercises before the operation, so that after operation you can continue, right, doing exercises.
Well, I'm saying that why do you continue with before the operation to see if you can get over that before the conceptual?
This is the object of the doctor who is in charge. We really don't have the say.
You understand?
Although, yes, I understand you. Although we can advise, right? But his instructions are, look, post-op or after operation, the therapy before, so they will get the idea and they will have ideas of what signs, what symptoms to look out for, right? Before.
Right.
Prevention is better than cure.
It's like doctors are not trained to prevent, they're trained to operate.
You hear a patient coming in and saying, look, I went to his office for the past year. Now that my money is finished, now I'm giving my letter to come join the clinic. So you're asking yourself, what is the whole gist of it all along? And we see it's just money, right? So each person is supposed to be wary of what is supposed to know and how to prevent things, what signs and symptoms to look out for. If it's happening in your family, you have to know what to do, right? So it's just little eye-openers to keep you wary of what you should know around the house, right? But we can't change things, we can't. That's how it is. Because we go a little deeper. A long time, the government has been trying to get senior doctors like consultants registered, right? They come, sometimes you don't see them for the day, but if there's an emergency, then they will come, right? And these people are supposed to be there 8 to 4, getting paid a nice fat sum each day, right? To be there for the patients, but we don't see them, right? But if the need be, they are called and they arrive. And the government of the day, they've been changing government after government and nobody could get that time, right? If we could get it, it would be so nice. Many of the problems which we have, which we face, wouldn't happen, because the guidance would have been there all along, right? So what we try to do as nurses in the ward setting, we try to organize, do a lot of in-house training with our nurses, teach them what to look for, what are the signs, what are the symptoms, how to treat, and when we see certain signs, call the doctor out. If you can't get the normal intern, you go to the house officer. If you can't get that one, you go to the register. If you can't get the register, you go to the consultant. But you make sure you're very smart, right? And when they come and they check through the notes and they realize they're documenting, they do get them slipping up and making foolish mistakes. And when they realize nurses are smart and they know what they're about and they're questioning what they do, they realize, but we can't do slip shot again. So you have to know your stuff.
And then suddenly files go missing when something happens.
Like something over the years has been happening. Right? So people, what I ask patients to do in the early is, once you're there, you're seeing doctor, you can make a request if you're fearful that something may happen along the way. Okay. But you can't get copy of your files. That's freedom of information, Apple's pass somewhere else. Okay. Right?
The symptoms that you were speaking about, who her brother died from that same incident, but the doctor was saying that he was having that pain. The pain should have been so severe that he should have been within probably about a week. And when he realized get hot and it be swollen. So one of the signs you were thinking that you bumped your foot. It's not a bumped foot. It's not a, it's an extremely strong pain that you just get, and it will be hot, like if it's hot water on your leg. Yeah. It's hotter than your body temperature. So it is something that you have to look for, that you get that. But if you don't get there, you get that. You do die from this.
She would bring the bowl, she would tidy him from head to toe and his hands behind his head, doing nothing. And I keep saying, you need to get active, you need to move your body, because once you lie down there inactive like that, you can develop same DVT or what we call a thrombus or a clot. Because this patient, he was there for like 3 months, had 2 surgeries, then went home, and the day he went home, they brought him back. The same evening, about 2 hours after, to emergency department, whole color change, blue-black, just complained of a sudden pain in the chest. And that was it, he was dead. So, a little piece of fat in the postmortem was a fat embolism. Piece of fat from one of the broken bones in his femur moved up and went to his heart. And that killed him, right? So we have to be very careful when people get these kind of injuries and they're just lying still, refusing to move, refusing to help themselves. If it had happened while he was in hospital, they could have done something to help him. Yeah. But he went home, and when he went home for the first time, he put crutches under his arm trying to walk from the car to the bedroom. And by the time he reached the bedroom, he was not feeling well. Put him to lie down, and with that lie down, that was it. Yeah. His whole body turned kind of dark, and was a clot that blocked his lungs. Right? So we have to be very careful. Now you can get clot also in your brain too, right? Right? When certain part of your brain has no blood flow, no function, no oxygen reaches it. So you can get a stroke. If it's on the right side, you'll feel it on the left side of your body. If it's on the left side, you feel it on the right side, because the nerves crisscross at the back of the head. Right? So we have to be careful of what can happen to us out there. Right? Any other question? Yeah.
Praise the Lord.
Yes, I have a question.
Praise the Lord. You know, some with anything to with blood clot, or what causes that and what is that exactly?
That which you feel down there is really a lack of what we call potassium in your body. Because some people, especially like diabetics, who get up frequently during the night and they go to pee, they go to use the washroom, a lot of diabetics end up getting that crampy feeling. Sometimes to the back of the leg, sometimes lower down in the calves area down there to the ankle, And it's so terrible that sometimes you want to bawl out and cry, and they just hold you there and you just can't move. You're bawling out for help sometimes, right? If you're not hypertensive, if you don't have high blood pressure, a little bit of salt or a little piece of a saltpoons will solve it within seconds, right? If you have that at home, that solves it within seconds. But if you are hypertensive, then you have to be very careful of taking salt because your pressure could go up higher very quickly, right? But it do happens, and especially in tired muscles, if you work real hard during the day and you're going to sleep, the muscles build up something we call lactic acid, an acid which is not of use to our body, but the body builds it up, it gives it out from the muscles, and that lactic acid causes that feeling you get there too, right? That crampy feeling is still there. Yeah.
I have to give God thanks for plenty things. And that I come to ask a question, but I am a diabetic. It's on. I am a diabetic now for 40 years. And I want to give.
Another thing happens, like when you now get up in the morning, sometimes you sleep in a certain position with your legs, and when you get up, you're cramping too. Is that still another thing? Because the edge of the toilet seat kind of squeezes on the vein, right, under your legs there. And that kind of depletes the flow of blood because you're sitting there for a while, especially if you're a little constipated, right? You sit there for a while trying to get those numbers to come out. I know it's not easy, but once you get in that leg squeezing, the vein squeezing, and sometimes even the nerve too, closer to the surface they squeeze, and you get cramping taking place, right? But as far as prevention is concerned, most of these patients who are prone, right, doctors will do, before surgery, they do what you call your bleeding time, your clotting time, to make sure that cramping time, right, before these patients go for surgery. And these blood tests are done for a reason, to monitor you and see whether put you on aspirin twice a day, and sometimes not just one aspirin, up to 4 aspirin. I've seen patients get, right, in the morning and 4 in the evening, right? So these are people who are prone to clot, right? They exercise with you and they teach you what to do. They teach the nurses how to continue to the patients. Patients who are obese and fat, we do what you call a turning chart, put that by the bedside at least every 2 hours. You turn in and you do monitoring and you keep talking to your patient once they're conscious and they can talk and asking them how they feel, if any area feel painful or sore, you keep talking to them, because something you're watching in nursing that is happening now. Long ago you used to find a nurse sitting by the bedside conversing with a patient. She know everything about you, and you're doing a proper treatment, right, of your patient. You know what kind of house to live in, if there's toilet and bath inside, if there's a latrine outside, if they have a water supply, if they have electricity, you know everything. Now we have a sheet just to tick with everything, and you find the nurses not doing it, right? And if you find them at the bedside more conversing, you get to know your patient more, and sometimes you're surprised to know that you get to find out the reason why the patient really come there. By just on my phone, looking at YouTube, I saw this guru, and he was saying, the cure for constipation is in your hand every day, and you pass it by, and you go to buy all sorts of fancy medication. You give all doctors your money when you have water home in your house day and night. He said, and water as warm as you could tolerate it. The first thing in the morning when you get up,
Praise the Lord.
You drink. If you could drink 2 glasses,
yes,
as warm as you could get, warm water. Within 20 minutes you're in the toilet.
Yes, very true.
And I've tried it, and I've been using that for the last, let's say, about the last 8-9 years. No problem with constipation. Every time I eat, I feel to go to the toilet. So for the day, sometime I go 3 times, right? And it's still happening, right? All because of water, and I try to drink water during the day. It's something we see facing within the last, 10, 15 years, facing our generation.
Yes.
Most people has turned to doubles,
Yes.
roti, pulgari, outside there. And look what is happening to the Indian population around you. They see that big, we used to call it dal belly Indian.
Yes.
You see that big belly,
Yes, it's true.
a set of fat.
Back. I'm feeling it a little bit now again. Now we would take it for granted that you wouldn't. I was